Hey y'all, it's Jen with Stillwater Woven Co. Let's slow down and make something cozy together. Today I wanted to show you how to hand knit a chunky pillow cover, or you could even do the same process and just stuff the pillow with polyfil. So here I'm starting out with my slip knot and I am making my starting chain. So this process is the same as if you are making a blanket or any other hand knit chunky item. I did not show it in this video, but if you're making a pillow cover and you have your pillow insert, after you make your starting chain, you're going to want to measure and make sure that your chain kind of wraps around the pillow cover from side to side, not just laying it across the top of the pillow cover. After you measure and make sure that you have it the correct length, you're just going to start pulling up your knit stitch into each loop on one side, and then when you finish, you're going to turn your starting chain and pull up another loop in the top of each of your chained section, just as if you were starting a blanket, but in this case, you're going to work on both sides of that starting chain. So you're going to go through one side, pull up a loop, turn the chain around, and pull up a loop on the other side. And that way, whenever you're making your pillow cover, you're making both sides at once. Because we pulled up loops on both sides of the starting chain, you should have double the amount of loops as however many loops you did for your starting chain. For example, if your starting chain was 15 loops, then after you've pulled up your stitches all the way around that, you should have a total of 30 loops that you're going to actually be using to make your pillow cover. So that's going to be the same. If you started with 20, then you should have 40. Just know that you should have double the amount of loops pulled through after you've pulled through your loops on both sides of the pillow cover. After you've done one set of stitches all the way around your starting chain, you are just going to continue to pull up stitches loop by loop all the way around your pillow cover. Here you can see the pillow cover is kind of starting to take shape. It's starting to look like a little bit of a cocoon or a pea pod. And so now what I'm going to do, you can see on those corners, it is, kind of starting to take that pillow cover shape. So I'm going to actually flip it inside out because I want the stitches that are showing on the outside of the pillow cover to actually be the knit stitch, which you can see here as I have flipped it inside out, that we now have the knit stitch showing on the outside and the purl stitch is now on the inside. Here I am just measuring just to make sure that my size is okay for it to fit the pillow insert that I purchased. And then I am just going to continue to knit and pull up stitch by stitch, working my way around the pillow cover. I am knitting my stitches pretty tight and really close together. You do typically want to do this if you're making a pillow cover or even if you're making a pillow cover that you're going to stuff, because once you put it on your pillow insert or you stuff it, you don't want to be able to see the pillow insert, or you don't want to be able to have that polyfil kind of come out between the stitches. So again, you just want to make sure that you're knitting tight and that you're pulling your loops really close together, and you're not having big gaps in between each stitch. Because we are knitting all the way around the pillow cover, I do find it's easier to knit a row of stitches, then flip the pillow cover over, knit the other row of stitches, and then flip it back over and just continue in that same motion. That way you don't accidentally miss a stitch somewhere in the process, and it's easier, to just see what stitch you're on to keep flipping it over and over. Here I'm preparing to connect the second skein of yarn so I can finish my pillow cover. You would want to follow this same process if you were changing colors, adding stripes, or in my case, just adding the second skein of yarn so I can continue. So essentially what you're going to do is cut off each end of the two pieces that you want to connect. On the inside of the yarn, there's like a core, and you're just going to use your lighter and try to burn the core part of the yarn, and then just connect those pieces together. After you do that, you're going to just kind of roll the yarn in your hands and then make sure that you have a secure connection. Here you can start to see the pillow cover is really taken shape. I am just putting in my pillow insert. Again, I am just trying to make sure that the size is good, and see how many more rows of stitches that I think I need to do to be able to close off the pillow cover. So I still have some rows that I need to do, so I'm just going to take the pillow insert out and just continue working my way around and pulling up loop by loop until I have it the size that I think I want it so that I can close it off. You can use this same video for any size pillow. I didn't mention the size of my pillow or even how many starting chain loops I did, because really it's going to vary based on your specific pillow size or insert. But I did just want to show you the process of making the pillow cover. Okay, so we are at the point where we want to go ahead and get started closing off the pillow cover. We have made sure that it's large enough with loops on each side to be able to close it off. So essentially what we're going to do once we insert our pillow cover, or if you're using polyfil, once you stuff, you are going to grab a loop from each side of the pillow, and you're going to pull up a loop, and you're going to do 2 loops, and then your second loop is going to go through your first loop. So you're going to grab those loops on each side of the pillow cover, make a loop, and I continue holding the first loop while I'm pulling up that second loop just to make sure that I don't accidentally pull it out. And then you're going to insert that second loop into your first loop and just kind of pull gently in the direction that you're working. You are going to do this for the entire top of the pillow cover. So again, you're pulling up those loops that are on each side of the pillow, and you're only going to be working with 2 loops at a time once you get them pulled up. I did speed up here just so I could get to the end. So again, once you have 2 loops, you're putting that second loop through the first loop. I'm at the end of the pillow cover now, and I am just pulling up that second loop, and I have the 2 loops on my finger, put the second loop through the first loop, and then now we're left with just 1 loop, and that's what we're going to use to actually close off the pillow cover. You can see it gives a beautiful braided top on that pillow cover. So now we're just going to cut some yarn from our working yarn so we have a tail. And we're just going to pull that through that last loop and then gently pull to tighten and close off that pillow cover. Again, you can see that it does have a beautiful braided top. And then what I like to do is just an extra is I will push that tail through another section on the side of the pillow cover, and I'm just doing 1 more knot. Again, that's just an extra safety to make sure that we have it closed off really well. It's probably not necessary, but just something that I like to do. So then I'm going to just weave part of that tail through the edge of the pillow cover a couple of times. So I'm just finding an opening and just weaving it through back and forth a couple of times. And then after I do that, I'm just going to make that tail shorter and find a spot where I want to fuse the tail into the pillow cover so it doesn't come undone. Then I'm just going to use my lighter and try to burn the core, get that core going, and then just tuck it into a section of the pillow cover. And that's it. You've just completed a pillow cover, and I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Don't forget to like, follow, and drop a comment. It really helps support my small business.